Hey there! If you're here, you are wanting some help in understanding how to identify the independent and dependent variables of an experiment. So I'm going to go through an experiment that is not in any of my courses, but it's going to be a good example to help you figure out in your experiment that you're working on right now, how to identify what exactly is the independent variable and what exactly is the dependent variable. So we're going to pretend that I'm doing an experiment with watering plants, and I'm going to try to determine how much water a certain plant needs in order to thrive. So in this image I have on the screen, you can see like one grouping of plants. I would actually have, let's say two. I would have two groupings of plants, and in order to do my experiment, I'd have to have them be getting different amounts of water, right? Everything else needs to stay the same. So I would put them in the same window with the same light exposure. I would plant them in exactly the same types of soil. I would put them in the same sized pots. The only thing that would be different would be how much water that I would be giving each of the two plants. So the independent variable in an experiment is that thing that you're changing. In this case, it's the amount of water. I have one plant that's getting very little water. Let's say I have three. In this example, there are three. I have another plant that's getting an average amount of water and a third plant that's getting a lot of water. Nothing else is changing. The amount of sunlight isn't changing. The pot is the same. The soil is the same. The only thing that changes is the water. So think about your experiment. What is the thing in your experiment that you're changing? And then you look at what's happening, record some data, change something so it's different, look at the results, record data, change something again. What is that thing that you're changing? That's the independent variable. The dependent variable is what you are measuring. That is what's affected by the change. So in the case of this plant, I might be measuring how tall it gets. I might be counting how many leaves it has. I might just be recording, is it alive or dead? So that's the data table, the stuff that you're recording in the data table. That is the dependent variable. So look at your experiment and decide, what am I recording? Am I recording yes, no if I see something? Am I measuring? Am I counting? What am I recording? What is the data that I'm collecting? And that's going to be your dependent variable. In my case, it would have been, I would have measured. I would have used a ruler to measure how tall that plant is, looking at the different amounts of water. And you can see this plant here on the right that got very little water would have the lowest measurement. The plant in the middle actually would have the lowest measurement because it's dead. The plant on the right would have a low measurement, and the plant on the left that got a moderate amount of water would have the tallest measurement. So my dependent variable in my case would be how tall is the plant in inches or centimeters. That's the dependent variable. So once again, your independent variable is the thing that changes. Look again to see what is changing in your experiment. And then the dependent variable is what you are recording. What is the data that you're taking? I hope that this is helping you out. If you still have struggles, reach out and ask me. I'm more than happy to help you out figuring out the independent and dependent variables of your experiment. It is one of the hardest parts of every lab. Good luck.